This is the culture.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Wave podcast. My name is Darian Scalamoni. If you guys haven't watched the channel before, please make sure you guys subscribe. You guys like. We talk about a bunch of things, film and television on here. But today I'm going to try something a little bit different. So I'm going to be doing an episode by myself right now. I actually have nobody else in the room with me. There's no producer. We're just letting it run. And I want to talk to you guys about what happens next in regards to Hollywood and the industry of film and television after the SAG strike. So we talked a little bit about the SAG strike as well as the writer's strike when that was going on our channel, on separate podcasts, things like that, whether it would be myself, Liz, Michael, Zach, any of us were talking about it. But after 148 days, the writer's strike ended in September, and after 118 days now, the SAG strike is ending, or has ended. So the things I want to talk to you guys about is what the deal meant for the actors as well as the studios, some of the productions that are going to get underway again if they haven't already started back up, as well as some of the things that we'll be talking about going forward, not only for the rest of 2023, but 2024 and beyond. So I want to start just in terms of the deal itself. So there were a lot of things that the actors were asking for. Some of them had to do with getting compensated fairly for streaming services and streaming residuals. If you guys weren't already aware of this, before the streaming wars sort of took place and streaming services like Netflix started to exist and things like that, a lot of the industry was just based in, putting out a film in theaters. And if a film did well and they weren't expecting it, some of the actors would get points back on that and things like that. And in television, the big thing that people wanted to get to was 100 episodes. They could do reruns on other channels and things like that. And they would get additional compensation for that. With the streaming services, though, that has sort of changed. Netflix was able to capitalize on a lot of different things. Squid Game is a perfect example of a series that blew up, one of the biggest streaming series of all time. And then because of the way that things went moving forward, a lot of actors that were involved in the show, the creators, people below the line like camera people and gaffers and other people in the industry weren't able to make back something that should have been deserved, something in a service or a series rather that had blown up over time that did really, really well, and they weren't able to be compensated for it. So that was one of the things that the actors and the Screen Actors Guild were fighting for. The big sticking point for a lot of it was the use of AI, also known as artificial intelligence. I remember a few months ago, or it might have been a year ago now, that there were reports coming out of Variety that from James Dean's estate, that they were thinking about doing a feature film starring James Dean with an artificial intelligence basically acting in place of the actor. Now, if you guys aren't aware of James Dean, he's like this iconic actor that had only acted in a few films, and I'm sure you've seen many things with him, an American actor. He only had acted in a few different things, but he passed away in 1955 at the age of 24. So he hasn't acted in anything since 1955, obviously, because he had passed away. And now they're trying to revive him through artificial intelligence to make him star in current movies. It left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and there's a lot of language that goes on in terms of this deal and the way that studios are now allowed to use artificial intelligence and get permission and guidance in how to use it through the actors and what they approve and what they don't approve. So just going over some of the things that the big sticking points in the deal and things that kind of went through after they agreed upon it. The new contract has compromised with a 7% increase in general wages effective immediately, with future increases coming in 2024 and 2025. And the total package includes more than $1 billion in new wages and benefit plan funding. Benefits was another thing for more of the below, like the smaller end, or the low end, I should say, of SAG and actors that are in SAG, because you pay dues to be in the Screen Actors Guild. So we're not talking people like your big stars that they were fighting for a lot of people below that, and people, even character actors and things that don't make as much on some of these movies, aren't offered points when they have big movies in theaters, aren't getting the big salaries to act in comic book films if they're a supporting role or things like that. They also secured consent and compensation guardrails on the use of AI, going back to what I was just talking about. So under the new contract's rules, a studio must obtain an actor's informed consent before creating or using a digital replica of a performer, whether they're an A-list star or a background actor. So AI was apparently one of the most divisive issues this whole entire time in the negotiating room between the producers and the studio heads, as well with the actors, and the negotiating board that included the president of SAG, Fran Drescher. So that was a big part of it. That was a big sticking point throughout the negotiations, and that, I believe, is why it took so long. We're in this interesting age now where there is use of AI everywhere. It doesn't matter what business you're in. People are using it to do job interviews. People use it to build resumes. People do it to, take your food orders. So the fact that it is interweaving itself in Hollywood and entertainment was something that SAG really fought against hardly. And they ended up winning based on the language that comes in the language, or at least for the most part. So those were the two main sticking points that I had been aware of. And all that information, by the way, is coming from an article that came out from Entertainment Weekly on November 10th. We're recording this on November 14th. So just wanted to make you guys aware of all that. If you weren't aware of some of the things that they were fighting for, I'm not a part of SAG. I don't have the ins and outs or the nuance to talk about everything to a big extent. Down the road, I think I would like to do a full podcast with some of my other hosts, Liz, Zach, Michael, whoever else, to discuss this further. And I think we're going to be doing that at some point, either towards the end of this year or early 2024. But I wanted to talk to some people that are more of the casual fans that enjoy just the entertainment part of this, because throughout this strike, I had been getting questions from a lot of friends and people that were like, oh, well, so what's going to happen now with Stranger Things? And what's going to happen with all these projects that are supposed to be filming? It's important to remember that these were people's jobs, that they were fighting for fair pay and compensation. And that was the most important thing. I feel that they're moving in the right direction with this deal. And now we can get back to business as usual on Culture Wave. So I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the projects moving forward. Some of the projects have gotten pushed that were supposed to be in theaters. Dune is a big example. Dune Part 2, which originally was supposed to come out this month in November of 2023. It's now coming out, I believe, in March of 2024. Let me just double check that. I don't want to have the wrong information on that for you guys. Dune Part 2 will be releasing, on March 15th, 2024, which is the follow-up to the Denis Villeneuve sci-fi that will follow up the events of the first film, bringing back Timothée Chalamet, bringing back Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, also bringing in new staples in the franchise, which are going to be people like Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken, amongst others. So that's a big one that I know is coming in early 2024. But let's talk about some of the projects that are getting back underway of filming. So Deadline has a report here of a lot of restarts in production. So let's start on the film side. One of the big ones that I'm sure a lot of people are curious about is Deadpool 3. This is going to be the first Deadpool project that is under the Disney banner since Disney had bought 20th Century Fox. It brings back Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, as well as Hugh Jackman, surprisingly, as Wolverine. Michael and I have talked about this on some of the past podcasts. This is directed by Sean Levy. He recently has a new series on Netflix called All the Light We Cannot See, which you guys can watch now. He's also done films like Free Guy, and he's one of the directors and head producers on Stranger Things. So he's an inspired choice for this. I'm really excited to see him work alongside these guys. And he's worked with Ryan Reynolds, obviously, before. That film was about 50% complete based on the Deadpool report, or the Deadline report, I should say. So we should get more information on that. Marvel did push it. It was originally, I believe, supposed to come out in May of 2024. Now it's supposed to be coming out in July of 2024. Gladiator 2 is another one. I reported on that on the Cinema Wave website. Despite castings and things like that, Paul Mescal is going to be in that one, as well as Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal. It's got a remarkable cast. Let's just take a look really quick. Russell Crowe is not supposed to be in it, but Connie Nielsen will return. Barry Keoghan is another actor that's attached. Jaimon Hansu is supposed to be in it. As of right now, that is still slated to release on Thanksgiving Day 2024, which would be November 22nd. So there's a lot of stuff still coming. Other projects that are getting underway of filming, or returning to filming rather, would be Beetlejuice 2, which is the return to the Halloween-centric franchise started by Tim Burton. That project is only a couple more days left of filming, and I believe after that, Tim Burton's going to head off and go film season 2 of Wednesday in Ireland. So Michael Keaton will be returning for that. Winona Ryder will be returning for that. Jenna Ortega is going to be in this film in Beetlejuice 2. Willem Dafoe is also expected to appear, as well as Justin Theroux, some of the new people coming into the franchise. And then after that, like we said, Wednesday we'll be shooting when we get to the TV side. We'll talk about that a little bit. Clint Eastwood's last film as well, Juror Number 2, has about a dozen days left in its filming process. The actors that are attached to that project are Nicholas Hoult and Toni Collette. So they're going to star in that film, which is expected to be Clint Eastwood's last directed film. Obviously, Clint Eastwood, a legend in the game as an actor, a director, but he's up there in age. I mean, we're talking about a 93-year-old. So it makes sense that he's trying to wrap things up. And that's another project that's getting underway with the restart in the industry. Another comic book superhero project that is getting underway to start filming again is Venom 3. So this one's actually going to be directed by Kelly Marcel, who I believe was a producer and a writer on the previous 2 projects. And Venom 3, we don't have a crazy amount of information yet, but it is slated to come out on November 8th, 2024. Tom Hardy obviously returning to the role of Eddie Brock. It's been rumored that Andrew Garfield may appear as Peter Parker. That's not a confirmed report, so take that with a grain of salt. Michelle Williams will be returning for that project as well. Juno Temple also attached, as well as Chiwetel Ejiofor. So look out for that one as well. Some of the other projects that are priorities that some of the companies are going to be working on again. So the Colleen Hoover novel, It Ends With Us, which is going to be starring Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. That currently has a release date of February 9th. 2024. I don't know how much filming they have left of that, but to me, I would be surprised if it made that date. Not a lot of special effects, obviously, has to be done with a project like that, but with a quick turnaround, we're already approaching Thanksgiving, and you guys have to remember, in Hollywood as well, like holidays, everyone has holidays, you know what I mean? So Thanksgiving and Christmas are going to be coming up for some of the actors. The industry shuts down for a couple of weeks, as do some people's places of business and things like that, to enjoy the holidays. So you're going to lose more time, which I think was an emphasis on why they wanted to get the SAG strike and the SAG deal done with before Thanksgiving, so they could get a couple weeks in before the holiday season. So it'll be hard to see It Ends With Us probably making that original date of February 9th, 2024. So we'll have to see what winds up happening with that. Some other projects that we've seen some speculative reporting and push and things like that. Captain America Brave New World is a project that was originally slated to come out in 2024. That is now going to be moving to 2025. There were a lot of reports that test screenings didn't go so well, and that there were a couple of action sequences that weren't up to snuff with the audiences. So I believe there's going to be some rewrites and some reshoots happening with that project. That is now actually going to be releasing, like I said, in 2025. The date on that is February 14th, 2025. That will bring back Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns, as the leader, essentially, from his character from The Incredible Hulk. He'll be returning to Marvel. Harrison Ford is going to be stepping into the Thunderbolt Ross role, as well as maybe a return of Liv Tyler has been rumored. We're also going to see Shira Haas enter the franchise as well in that story. So those are some of the big films that are already filming that we're expecting to see come back. Some of the other ones on the Deadline article that are expected to probably start filming as soon as the new year starts are Tron 3, which stars Jared Leto, the Minecraft film, which has been in development for quite a long time. It has a release date of April 4th, 2025. That stars Jason Momoa. That's expected to start filming as soon as the new year starts. Mortal Kombat 2 is another one. Carl Urban has been cast as Johnny Cage in that one. And then there are some other projects that they're talking about. Sunflower, which is directed by Misha Green. I also posted about that on Cinema Wave, and that was reported months ago. That is another one on here that they list that's supposed to be starting filming. Another one that is heavy in the news, I'm sure you guys have all heard at this point, is James Gunn's Superman Legacy, which is supposed to hit theaters on June 11th, 2025. David Cornsweet, we know, is going to be playing the Man of Steel. Rachel Brosnahan playing Lois Lane. Liz and I had talked about that in a previous episode. Go back and watch that if you guys want. But that's a project that's heavily anticipated by a lot of people, waiting to see what James Gunn can do with the iconic DC hero. And I believe they're going to start filming in January or February of 2024. So they should have plenty of time to make that June 11th date. And I think he already put out an Instagram post or maybe a tweet saying that they expect to hit that date. So no issues there. Another film in the DC universe, The Brave and the Bold, the new Batman film that is expected to be directed by Andy Muschietti, the Flash director. Not too sure what's going to be happening with that. They're very early on in the process of that. They haven't even cast the new DCU Batman, so to speak. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Right now, apparently Muschietti is focusing on the It prequel series for Max, which is called Welcome to Derry. That's expected to start filming or jump back into filming as soon as next week. Those are a bunch of things that we talked about in terms of film. Just looking through this article one more time, it doesn't see that a lot of other projects, at least big name projects, they'll be jumping in right away. So projects that are currently in production are in first position for actors. There's no worry as of right now that any actors will have to drop out of any future projects. Like one of the ones they list on here is Pedro Pascal potentially worrying about the filming schedule for The Last of Us Season 2 on HBO. And apparently he'll be fine by the time he's done filming for Gladiator 2. He should be all good for that. Mandalorian, we're not too sure. I haven't heard anything on that yet. But as we are just scavenging right now, please, guys, let me know your thoughts on this format. Just me trying to give you guys some information. I figured this would be good to give you guys just an idea of what we're looking at going into 2024 and potentially these 2025 big releases, because there is a lot of stuff coming, guys. A lot of projects we're going to be talking about. We have Loki just wrapped up its season 2 with Marvel, so that's exciting. Marvel has a lot of projects that are done filming, but we're not really too sure of dates yet, what's going to be happening. Ironheart, I know, is completely wrapped. We still don't have an update on that. Agatha, I know, is a project that they had gotten mostly through filming. I'm not sure if they wrapped before the strike. And there's a lot of other things. We know Echo's coming out in January. Like I said, Deadpool is slated to release in July. But I think as of now, those are the only 2 Marvel projects that are coming next year, at least that we are aware of. Daredevil Born Again, we know, is going to be rewritten, and it's going to be headlined now by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead directorially, who did a lot of episodes of Loki Season 2. So that's exciting for Daredevil fans to sort of get us more into that mature tone that we love about Charlie Cox's sort of portrayal, a little different than what he did maybe in, say, a series like She-Hulk. That's a lot of the film stuff, guys. Let's jump into some of the TV stuff. Stranger Things is one that has been asked about many times to me. Stranger Things is expected to start filming, I believe, if not the end of next month. It should be early 2024, but I believe that's going to be starting very soon. Welcome to Derry, we already talked about. Yellowstone is expected to start filming very soon. Hope you guys are excited for that. We're going to see the transitional period where Kevin Costner's character, John Dutton, exits the series. However, they decided to do that with Matthew McConaughey joining the fold for Paramount Plus, Paramount Network, and all those networks that Paramount owns. So that's an exciting thing if you are a Yellowstone fan. One of the other series that's expected to wrap, I hope it still gets a 2024 release, is The Penguin, which is a limited series that's going to be on Max, following Colin Farrell's portrayal of Oswald Cobblepot. Basically a spin-off series on his character from The Batman. The Batman Part 2, starring Robert Pattinson, that's expected to still come out in 2025. That will also be filming next year in 2024. It doesn't seem like there hasn't been any production delays in terms of that as well. Let's just double check here. Some other series that they talked about. The Sandman is expected to go back into filming immediately. The second season of the popular Netflix series based on the graphic novel. Apples Never Fall, which is another limited series I reported about on Cinema Wave, so check that out. That's going to be on Peacock. Some other projects that are expected to start in December. Duster, a big J.J. Abrams project over at HBO. That's going to be filming, as well as Alien, the Alien series coming to FX by Noah Hawley, the creator of Fargo, rather. That's expected to start in January. Then we have The White Lotus Season 3, which Mike White is already sort of building anticipation with a huge cast and an Asian set storyline for season 3 that will begin filming in February. Those are the updates I have as of now on all of these things. We're going to talk about a lot more projects going forward. The Bear has been renewed for its 3rd season, so we're excited about that one here at the network. There's a lot of other things that we are excited about, so please let us know in the comments what you guys are excited for, what you guys are anticipating returning to filming, things you're excited to see in 2024, 2025, and even the rest of 2023. Please, if you guys don't already, follow us at Cinema Wave Media on Instagram, as well as on TikTok and on Facebook. You can also follow us at _Culture Wave Media on Instagram as well. We want to bring you guys the best content that we possibly can for the remainder of the year and going forward. So let us know what you guys want to hear from us, what you appreciate about our opinions, and I will do my best to get us moving in that direction. Just signing off, I am Darian Scalamoni, and we'll see you guys next time.